Good evening, everyone. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and tonight I'm going to continue my review of Danica Mckellar's book, Math Doesn't Suck, with fractions. And I actually took physical notes for this one, mainly because I was busy and I didn't want to mess with my computer. So, as you well know, I'm doing a live stream right now. That's why I'm kind of angled the way I am. And so I'm just going to turn this around like that so you can get a better view of me. Anyway, so we're going to go on to the next chapter. We're talking about fractions tonight. Now, I have talked about fractions in a previous video. If you go to my elementary mathematics playlist on my YouTube channel, you will find a video about fractions. I guarantee it. Okay. Now you used pizza as your example, and that was a very good idea, except for the fact that not everybody likes pizza. Okay, and there are some reasons for this. Now, granted, when I was a kid, I went to Godfather's Pizza, and I tell you what, it was wonderful. It was just fantastic. It was wonderful, a great experience. I will never forget it. But one of the things that was in Godfather's Pizza, okay, it's one of the best tasting pizzas you'll ever have, and I can tell you why now. It has a good crust. There's no question about it. They have great toppings over there. When I was a kid and when they were in their old location, it was a great atmosphere. I loved going in that place. It was great. It was fantastic. It was marvelous. It was wonderful. But the thing is that their crust was full of sugar. That's why it tasted so sweet and so good. Well, nowadays, when you're being a little more health conscious, then having a ton of sugar in your crust, as well as a lot of gluten, maybe not such a great idea. So that could be one thing that could prevent people from actually enjoying pizza. But some people just don't enjoy pizza at all. You know, go figure. Now, let's take a look at some Latin. Okay, let's take a look at some Latin etymology. Okay, now I covered this in a previous video. As I said, I did a whole video about fractions. I did a video about numerator and denominator. Now, I don't remember all of it from back then. You can go ahead and take a look. You can watch it for yourself. But the word denominator, part of that word actually is the word nomen. And if you know anything about nomen or nominus, you know that it actually means name. Okay, and that should be the key focus of how you teach fractions. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to look up I'll go ahead and do that right now. Let's see. Okay. Well, tell me a whole heck of a lot. Okay. The word improper has the Latin prefix in, which usually means not, or can actually mean the opposite of something else. Okay? And when you're talking about proprius, you're talking about somebody that's, well, a good example of that is somebody that doesn't keep themselves physically fit. See what I mean? Okay. Alright, okay, I got that wrong. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Proprius means something pertaining to yourself. Proprius means something pertaining to yourself, and when you join it with the Latin prefix in, it means something that is not physically fit, or maybe not something that's fit to drink or to eat or something like that. Okay, and even mannerisms go along with that too. So there you go. Alright, we're going to get rid of that right there. Alright, now let's get back into this. Alright, now I agree that fractions are actually division problems. I agree with that. As a matter of fact, you remember how, well, you might, I know I do, when I was a kid they had the line with the dot on the top and the bottom. Okay, that's what a fraction kind of looks like to me. Alright, now then, so if a fraction is nothing more than a division problem, then all you have to do is rotate it like a clock, or maybe like a dial. If you're turning the dial clockwise, okay, you can actually turn the fraction clockwise, and it actually becomes a division problem. As a matter of fact, all it is when you turn it clockwise, it's only missing one line. You know how they had the up line like this, the vertical line, and then they had the horizontal line? You just add in the horizontal line, you got a division problem. That's what you got. And that's how that works. Alright. Now, why am I focusing on the word denominator? Because in a wedding, what usually, and we're not talking about modern weddings today. We're talking about way back when, in the old early days. What was it that they usually did? The bride would actually take on the last name of the groom. And there were specific reasons for doing this. And I would be happy to cover that in a later video, but I'm not going to cover it here. You probably know what I'm talking about. I know some of my students here will know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so what you really want to do is you want the denominator to marry the whole number, because you're talking about a mixed number here, okay? So you have the denominator marrying the whole number part of a mixed number, and then adding on their numerator friend. That would be a better way to remember this, because you're focusing on the Latin etymology, so you're actually teaching them Latin etymology as well as fractions at the same time. See what I mean? And that's what I got to say about that. So really, the lesson you were teaching, it wasn't a bad lesson particularly. It's just I had a better idea, and I think you can see why. And that causes them to focus on Latin etymology, which teaches them it actually teaches them how to remember practically a whole dictionary in their head. And that's what I'm going for. All right. Now, if I remember right, you had also mentioned something about diamonds too, and I'm like, what does this have to do with fractions? Really? So, anyway, I'm going to let it go for tonight. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. Perhaps when you write your next math book, you'll kind of bring in Latin vocabulary into the math book to augment their vocabulary. And I hope you do. Alright, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned.